Thank you. Good morning. What a great day. I can feel all the excitement, I'm sure you can, out there, and you've earned every bit of the exhilaration that you feel. If you think about the very diverse backgrounds and histories that have brought you all here, it truly is amazing. Some of you come from families that have a long tradition of collegiate attendance. Some are the first in your families to attend college. Some have come back to school after a break in your educational journey. Whichever path you took, today marks quite a special accomplishment. For all of us on this stage, and indeed all who have devoted their professional lives to higher education, this is the day toward which we all strive. To see the students with whom we've worked on the precipice, ready to leave this institution and make their way in the world, is exciting. And because you are here, sitting in those chairs, we know you're ready for the leap. And I'm not speaking only of what you'll do vocationally. While you've been here at BU, you've made many friends, possibly none more important than the ones you made in your major departments. The faculty, staff, and students with whom you spent a large part of your college experience. But as important as the friends and coursework you made and experienced there, I would argue that of equal value are all of those other courses you took outside of your major. Be honest now, how many of you at one point in your college career said, "Why do I have to take this class? I'm never going to use this when I get out of college." Well, it's upon those why am I taking these classes that I want to reflect. Those courses that fit into the category of general education as part of the liberal arts. First of all, what is a liberal arts education? Well, the liberal in liberal arts comes from the Latin liber, to be free. And that is at the heart of your program of study. This idea that learning from a number of key areas, the arts, humanities, social sciences, mathematics, and science, will make you free by giving you a basis in the culture, how the world functions, and how to think logically and communicate those thoughts in a clear, effective manner. In this sequence, you took some very valuable courses. Let's look first at the courses that fit into the Group C category. These are the natural sciences and mathematics. In this area, you studied logical ways to solve problems and learned about how things work in nature. In Group B, you studied the social sciences and looked at the systems devised by humanity to organize their culture and deal with each other in a civilized way, as well as courses which looked at the way in which the mind works and develops. In Group A, you studied the humanities and the arts. In history, you looked at how civilizations have dealt with each other over time. In philosophy, mankind's struggle to explain life and the human condition. In the arts, my area of focus, you experience the beauty that comes from the creative mind of mankind, be it music, theater, dance, or the fine arts, that which truly makes us free. The second president of the United States, John Adams, once said, "I must study politics and war, that my sons may have the liberty to study mathematics and philosophy, natural history, and naval architecture, in order to give their children a right to study painting, poetry, music, architecture, tapestry, and porcelain." Like the Greeks before him, he understood that study in the liberal arts meant freedom. Freedom from tyranny, freedom from the mundane, freedom from the status quo, freedom to think differently, and the freedom to create. All of the areas of study found in your general education core have combined to give you a cultural and historical awareness, a way to formulate logical thought, processes, and knowledge of the way creative thought has been fostered throughout history. As important as a study in the liberal arts is on its own, and I would argue that they're worth studying without any ulterior motive, on a less lofty plane of thinking, it has also prepared you for the very fast-changing job market that exists today, where vocational training prepares you for one job. A liberal arts education has prepared you for the flexibility of a mobile workforce. When folks ask me, why should I or my daughter or my son study in the liberal arts, I always like to tell the story of my sister-in-law, who, much to her parents' consternation, majored in Latin American studies. She was one of 6 students who graduated with that major out of a class of 4,000. In preparation for this address, I asked her why she chose her degree path. She said that as a non-native Spanish speaker, she was always interested in the culture, had taken a number of language courses, and wanted to experience some international study. She had no idea where that would lead her in terms of a career. It was just intellectual curiosity. As it turned out, her first job was working for a major insurance company, explaining retirement benefits to Spanish-speaking customers. A natural fit for her now bilingual skills, which she developed as part of her major and study abroad program, where she lived for a year in Costa Rica. That job enabled her to get her foot in the door with corporate America, and that was just the starting point. Because of the knowledge she gained from her diverse liberal arts education and her insatiable thirst for knowledge, she learned much on the job and in subsequent studies, which translated to promotions and more responsibility. Today, she is the Chief Operating Officer of Transamerica Retirement Services, where she manages approximately 750 employees, overseeing the call centers, cash processing, new business, documents and contracts, government filings and compliance, as well as their information technology services. The moral of the story is that she had no idea when she majored in Latin American studies that she would be working in corporate America, much less as the COO. Her liberal arts education prepared her well for the creative and systematic approaches she has used successfully in her career. Now, that's not to say that a liberal arts education is all you will need to be successful. Those of you in education programs have already taken a first step on the road to success by adding professional certification to your degree. But even beyond that, there is another fundamental element to success: consistent, persistent work. There's no substitution. In my own field of music, we see this quite often. The study of music is both theoretical and practical. Of the latter, one must spend copious amounts of time developing a physical skill. You cannot be successful if you do not put in the requisite time to the physical aspects of the art. That is why, as faculty members in music, we often see students come to the music program through an audition process with a variety of skill levels on their instrument. We also see students enter with a varying degree of natural talent. The interesting thing about that is, oftentimes, it is the students that don't have quite as much natural talent that make the most progress on their instrument. Those students learn that they need to work a little harder to make those gains and offset the advantages of those with the innate talent. And those students have not often developed the self-discipline and have breezed by and had not to work as hard. They sometimes realize too late that their innate ability can only take them so far. In the same way, as you think about and begin your future, I urge you to find that which makes you happiest and for that which you have a passion, and turn it into a vocation. You will be more apt to invest yourself to the task if you do. But no matter what you end up doing in the workforce, be the best you can be at it. Don't settle for getting by with the least amount of work. Use the insatiable quest for knowledge that has been fostered here at Bloomsburg University to learn all you can about your chosen vocation and use that knowledge to raise your value to a prospective employer. Or use it to start your own entrepreneurial venture. Think outside the box and use the techniques and examples of creative thought that you gained in your Group A courses to come at problems in new ways. Companies know the value of someone who can solve problems in an innovative fashion. If companies didn't seek out those folks, products would stagnate and the businesses would fold. Look at all the innovation in technology in just the past few years. Yes, engineers are important to execute those new products, but someone has to have an idea first. And yes, it could be that engineer who comes up with the idea, or it could be you. Your experience here at Bloomsburg University has offered you the tools for success: creative and logical ways to solve problems, cultural awareness, historical perspective, philosophical inquiry, and intellectual curiosity. I would like to finish with two quotes. The first from Albert Einstein, who said, "Imagination is more important than knowledge, for while knowledge defines all we currently know and understand, imagination points to all we might yet discover and create." The other quote is from an unlikely source, Mary Poppins, who said, "Well begun is half done." So get out there, use the knowledge you have gained and your creativity to invent new understanding. You've made a great beginning. And remember the words of Mary Poppins, because to be successful, no matter where you are, there's always farther to go. Just make sure that you enjoy the journey. Congratulations.